Today, I will go through Module 5, Eating Right. In this module, there have 23 vocabularies. This is the vocabulary list in this module. Pear, peach, kiwi, basket, butter, a bag of crisps, a carton of milk, a piece of cake, a box of cereal, a can of lemonade, a bottle of water, a cup of tea, a bar of chocolate, a glass of milk, meal, hour, bowl, plate, spoon, fork, knife, coffee, and nuts. Next, I will go through part 1 of this module, countable nouns and uncountable nouns. This table shows the differences of countable noun and uncountable noun. Countable noun can be counted and can take singular or plural verbs, while uncountable noun cannot be counted and always take singular verbs. The example of countable noun is egg, apple, burger, carrot, while example for uncountable noun is milk, sugar, honey, meat, and rice. For countable nouns in singular verbs, a burger, while in plural verbs, 2 burgers. If more than one, so we add s. And for uncountable nouns, such as milk, we cannot add s if there are more than 2 milk. Okay, now we continue with some or any plus countable nouns. For example 1, there is an apple and a pear on the table. And for example 2, there are some apples on the table, but there are not any pears. From these sentences, we can see that we use some for the apples that appear on the table, and we use any because the picture did not have any pears. And for the example 3, there are not any apples on the table, but there are some nuts. This is the same one. We can see that it used any for the apples because the pictures did not have any apples, and we use some for the nuts because the pictures is nuts. Next is some or any plus uncountable nouns. Also same, some we use for positive sentences and any we use for negative sentences. For example, there is some cheese on the table. And for the negative one, there is not any ketchup on the table. For your information, we use any also on the question form. For example, is there any milk on the table? From these 3 examples, we can see that cheese, ketchup, and milk are uncountable nouns. Let's do exercise. Fill in the blanks with a, and, some, or any. First one, I need some information about a city. These sentences is a positive sentences and information is countable nouns, so we use some. For question 2, I always have an egg for breakfast. For your information, when A, E, I, or U, we use an, And this question is egg, so we use an egg. I always have an egg for breakfast. For question 3, can you help me? I need some advice. This is a positive sentence and we use some. For the question 4, we don't have any money. Money is uncountable nouns and this question is negative sentences, so we use any. For question 5, have you got a pen? Answer for this question is a. Have you got a pen? For question 6, does Peter have some magazines in his office? Magazines is countable nouns and this is a positive sentence, so we use some. Does Peter have some magazines in his office? Next, we continue with how much or how many. This table shows the similar and differences of how much and how many. For the similar, how much and how many used to ask about the quantity. But the differences is how much is for questions with uncountable nouns. For example, how much money do you have? How much sugar are there in the kitchen? Money and sugar are uncountable nouns, so we use how much. For how many is used for questions with countable nouns. For example, how many students are there in the school? How many chairs are there in the kitchen? Students and chairs are countable nouns, so we use how many. Now, let's do for exercise 1. Fill in the blanks with how many or how much. First question. Birds is countable nouns, so we use how many. How many birds are there? Information is uncountable nouns, so we use how much for question 2. How much information is on the internet? For question 3, stars. Stars is countable nouns, so we use how many. How many stars are there in the sky? For question 4, bread is uncountable nouns, so we use how much. How much bread is eaten per day? For question 5, people. People is countable nouns, so we use how many. How many people live on islands? And for question 6, how much? Water is on the ocean. We use how much because water is uncountable nouns. This is exercise 2. Complete the questions with how much or how many. For question 1, bottles of juice is countable nouns, so we use how many. How many bottles of juice are in the fridge? 3. For question 2, sugar. Sugar is uncountable nouns, so we use how much. How much sugar have we got? Enough. For question 3, bags. Bags are countable nouns, so we use how many. How many bags are there in the garden? 2. For question 4, meat. Meat is uncountable nouns, so we use how much. How much meat do we have? We have got 2 sticks. For question 5, children. Children is countable nouns, so we use how many. How many children have they got? 2 girls and a boy. And for the last question, time. Time is uncountable nouns, we must use how much. How much time do you need to finish your homework? An hour. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.